Chosen one, there are reasons you've been kept apart. Reasons hidden in silence, in nights where no one called your name, in mornings where the bed stayed cold. You may have thought it was rejection. You may have thought it was punishment, but it has always been preparation. Shaolin masters teach that silence is not emptiness, it is the forge. In solitude, the fire burns away what is false. In solitude, the spirit sharpens like a blade. This path was not placed on you by accident. You were chosen to walk through this training ground, while others rushed into bonds that weakened them. In this teaching, I will reveal why your singleness has been extended, why the divine has protected you from connections that looked like blessings but carried poison. You will see how Shaolin discipline views solitude as sacred, how mindfulness transforms loneliness into strength, and why this September 11th marks a turning point you cannot ignore. Most people never learn these secrets. They see only the surface, the waiting, the longing, but beneath the surface, your soul has been guarded, tested, and prepared for something higher than ordinary love. Stay with me until the end, because you must understand not only the reason for your solitude, but also the shift that is now unfolding. This is not just information, it is alignment, a call to mastery, and when you hear it, you will no longer look at your life the same way again. Welcome to our channel Shaolin Soulfire. If you are ready to walk this path of wisdom and inner strength, I invite you to subscribe and join us. Your training has already begun. There is a saying in the temple, before you can carry water for others, you must first learn to carry it for yourself. Discipline comes before indulgence, because without structure, freedom turns into chains. Think of the warrior who sharpens his sword every morning. The blade is not meant for endless battle. It is prepared in silence, so that when the time comes, it does not break. In the same way, your mind, your heart, your spirit must be sharpened before you step into a bond with another soul. When discipline is missing, love becomes confusion. The scattered mind creates a scattered union. Every fear you have buried, every wound you refuse to heal, every pattern you ignored, these do not disappear when you meet someone. They grow louder, they are mirrored back to you, and what could have been harmony turns into noise. This is why the ancient teachers warned, train yourself before you give yourself. The indulgence of companionship feels sweet, but if entered too soon, it carries hidden poison. A relationship does not cure loneliness, it magnifies what already lives within you. If you are restless, restlessness multiplies. If you are at peace, peace expands. The Shaolin path is not about denying desire. It is about timing. It is about preparing the vessel so it does not crack when filled. Discipline is not a cage. It is protection. It ensures that when love arrives, it does not collapse under the weight of your unhealed spirit. And so, the one who is kept single is not abandoned. They are being tempered, like steel in the fire, until the blade is ready to cut through illusion and enter union with clarity. There is a hall inside every human being, a place where no one else can enter. It is here that the real battles take place. Not battles with enemies, not struggles with the world, but the silent war with your own mind. True mastery has never been about bending others to your will. It has always been about bending your own impulses into harmony. A person who conquers nations but cannot govern their anger is still a slave. A person who wins debates but cannot silence their restless mind has not yet touched freedom. Singleness draws you into this inner dojo. Without the constant mirror of another person, you are left face to face with yourself. Every impatience rises, every craving becomes louder, every shadow you once hid in the noise of companionship begins to show itself. This is not punishment, it is training. The ancients would retreat to mountains or monasteries for this very reason. They knew that before you could share a path with another, you had to first learn to walk firmly on your own, to sit with hunger without reaching for distraction, to feel longing without letting it rule you, to breathe through the storm of emotion until it softens into clarity. This is the kind of mastery that cannot be faked. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. It is earned only through discipline, patience, and the quiet willingness to look at your own reflection without turning away. In this way, singleness becomes less of a waiting room and more of a sacred hall of practice. Every day you remain here, you grow stronger. Every challenge you endure, you sharpen the edge of your spirit, until one day mastery is no longer a goal, it is who you are. Silence is not empty, it is filled with the voices you have long ignored. When the noise of the world fades, the chatter of the mind becomes louder, and this is where the real training begins. At first, the mind runs in many directions, regrets from the past, worries about the future, desires that stir without rest. Most people drown these voices with constant distraction, but in solitude there is nowhere to hide. You are left to watch the stream of thoughts as they rise and fall. This practice is like standing by a river. You do not need to jump into every current, you only need to notice how the waters flow. Some streams are shallow, some are stormy, some are poisoned. With time, you begin to see which ones lead you toward peace and which carry you into suffering. Awareness is the first step of mastery. In Shaolin teaching, the blade is sharpened by repetition. Stroke after stroke, the edge grows clearer. In the same way, every moment you return to awareness, your spirit becomes more refined. The mind that once pulled you in every direction slowly learns to rest. And when the mind rests, the heart begins to open. This sharpening prepares you for connection in a way nothing else can. Because when two spirits meet, they do not only share love, they also share their hidden storms. Without awareness, those storms collide and destroy. With awareness, you see clearly, you respond wisely, and love becomes a path of growth rather than chaos. So the silence you walk through now is not a void, it is a sacred school, and the awareness you are building here will be the foundation of every bond you carry in the future. There are seasons in life where the same story plays out again and again. Different faces, different places, yet the ending feels familiar. This is the weight of patterns carried in the unconscious, the karmic loops that bind without being seen. Many are kept single not because love is denied, but because love would only repeat the cycle. Until the lesson is understood, the story returns. One relationship after another, like pages turning in a book you have already read. Solitude interrupts this repetition. It presses pause on the endless cycle and gives you the chance to notice what has been hidden. When you are alone, there is no one to blame, no mirror to distract you from the truth. You begin to see the threads more clearly. The same fears, the same wounds, the same choices disguised in new clothing. What once felt like fate begins to look like a pattern, and that recognition is the doorway to freedom. Ancient teachings say that karma is not punishment. It is memory. It is the echo of unfinished lessons waiting to be faced with clarity. Solitude provides the silence needed to hear that echo, to study it and to break it. In the Shaolin path, a warrior does not swing his sword blindly. He observes the enemy's movement, learns its rhythm, and then cuts through with precision. In the same way, solitude allows you to observe your own patterns until the moment comes when you no longer need to repeat them. This is why being kept single is not abandonment, but protection. It shields you from recreating the same pain while you sharpen your awareness. And once the loop is broken, you are no longer bound to history. You are free to walk into something entirely new. In Shaolin teaching, energy is life itself. Every thought, every action, every bond is an exchange of this life force. To waste it carelessly is to weaken the spirit, but to guard it with discipline is to grow unshakable strength. When you walk the path of singleness, much of your energy remains with you. It is not scattered across arguments, not drained by false promises, not tied to connections that dim your light. Instead, it gathers quietly, like water in a still reservoir. The longer it rests undisturbed, the purer it becomes. Think of a warrior who trains in the mountains. He is not yet fighting battles, but his strength is not idle. Every day his body hardens, his breath deepens, his focus sharpens. When the moment of challenge comes, he has power stored that others cannot see. So it is with you. In solitude, your energy is being cultivated, prepared for a higher purpose. The ancients called this life force chi, the breath that animates all things. To waste it on shallow ties is to leak power without knowing. To preserve it is to stand rooted, calm and radiant. When the right bond comes, you will not enter weak or needy. You will enter whole, carrying an energy so steady that it uplifts both souls instead of draining them. This is why you have been kept apart. It is not to deny you love, but to shield your essence from being consumed by the wrong embrace. Each day of solitude is a day your energy strengthens, a day your light grows more refined. And when the time comes, you will not pour from emptiness, you will share from overflow. There are moments in time when the air itself feels different, when the invisible currents of life shift direction. September 11th carries such a weight. It is spoken of as a gateway, a threshold where alignment becomes possible for those prepared to step through. Being kept single in this season is not an accident. It is a sign that your spirit is still being brought into rhythm with the greater pattern. Just as the moon does not rise before its appointed hour, a union of souls cannot arrive before the spirit is ready to hold it. Timing is as important as intention. Think of the farmer who plants his seeds. If he sows before the season, the ground rejects them. If he waits too long, the harvest is weak. But when he aligns with the right time, the earth responds with abundance. In the same way, your solitude has been a waiting field, a place where the roots of discipline and self-mastery could grow unseen. The ancients taught that heaven, earth, and man must align for harmony to be complete. This gateway represents such alignment. The energy of September 11th does not open for chaos, but for those who have refined their inner being to meet it. If you feel the pull of this shift, it is because your preparation is nearing its fulfillment. The union you seek is not ordinary companionship. It is a meeting woven into the fabric of divine timing, and like two rivers merging, it can only happen when both waters flow with equal strength. Your solitude has not been delay. It has been alignment, so that when the season turns, you are ready to step into something sacred, not fragile. In the monastery, the halls often echo with silence. To an outsider, it may feel like emptiness, a kind of void that presses against the heart. Yet for the Shaolin monk, this emptiness is not feared. It is embraced, studied, and transformed into strength. Loneliness too carries this dual nature. To some, it feels like a heavy weight, an absence that gnaws at the spirit. But in truth, it is raw material, like unshaped clay or unpolished stone. When you learn to sit with it, to breathe steadily in its presence, something begins to change. What was once pain becomes a hidden source of power. The discipline lies in staying still when every impulse tells you to run, to resist filling the void with noise, distractions, or shallow bonds. In this stillness, the mind begins to reveal its secrets. You discover that loneliness is not truly the absence of others, it is the absence of your own presence with yourself, and as you return to that presence, the void softens. Ancient teachings speak of the empty cup. Only when the cup is emptied can it be filled with fresh water. Loneliness empties you, clears away the illusions, and makes space for clarity, peace, and new strength to enter. Those who master this practice no longer fear silence. They carry within them a calm reservoir of energy, a steadiness that does not depend on who is beside them. And when they eventually step into union, they do not come from neediness, but from fullness. So the loneliness you feel is not an enemy, it is a teacher. Sit with it, breathe through it, and you will find that what once felt like emptiness becomes the very ground of your strength. There is a quiet misunderstanding about detachment. Many believe it means shutting down the heart, walking through life untouched, as if love itself were a weakness. But true detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is the ability to see things as they are, without being blinded by the fog of need. When you cling to someone out of fear, love becomes distorted. It shifts from a gift into a demand, from openness into control. What you fear to lose, you begin to grip too tightly, and in that grip, the bond suffocates. Detachment frees you from this trap. It allows you to love as a flowing river, not as a chain. The Shaolin way teaches release. The monk learns not to hold the flame in his bare hand, for even beauty can burn when grasped too tightly. Instead, he admires the fire, feels its warmth, and lets it dance freely. In the same way, when you release the need to possess another, you create the space for true connection to breathe. This refinement is the hidden gift of solitude. Alone, you learn that your worth is not borrowed from another's presence. You discover you can stand whole, steady, and complete. And from this wholeness, love arises not out of hunger, but out of abundance. The ancients often spoke of a lotus blooming in still water. It does not chase the sun. It simply opens when the time is right. Detachment is like that. It trusts, it allows, it flows. To love without clinging is to love with freedom. It is to offer yourself fully, yet without fear, knowing that true union can only flourish where clarity has been cultivated. There comes a point in training when every strike, every breath, every step feels different. The body no longer moves from impulse but from awareness. The same is true for love. When the discipline is done and the spirit has been sharpened, union is no longer ordinary, it becomes a path of purpose. Most enter relationships seeking comfort, a shelter from loneliness, a mirror to fill the empty spaces within. But when two people who have mastered themselves come together, something greater is born. Their bond is not about escaping pain, it is about carrying light into the world. The ancients spoke of the bow and the arrow. Alone, the bow is still. Alone, the arrow cannot fly. But when they meet in balance, direction and power unite, and the shot reaches far beyond what either could achieve alone. So it is with sacred union. Each has trained, endured solitude, sharpened awareness. And when they meet, their energy does not collapse inward, it expands outward. This is why the season of waiting matters. Solitude shapes you into someone who does not depend on love to survive, but who can share love to uplift. It ensures that when your paths converge, the relationship becomes a vessel for something larger than yourselves. Such a union carries responsibility. It may call you to serve, to teach, to heal, to inspire. It will not be built only for comfort but for mission. And while comfort may still be found within it, the deeper fire is its purpose, to weave your strengths together so the world itself is changed by your presence. This is the gift of discipline and awareness to prepare you for a union that transcends desire and becomes destiny. The path of solitude is not punishment, it is refinement. Each quiet day, each silent night has been shaping you into someone stronger, clearer, and more awake. What feels like waiting is, in truth, a sacred training ground. Shaolin wisdom reminds us that discipline before indulgence, awareness before attachment, leads to a love that uplifts rather than destroys. So let this season teach you. Guard your energy, watch your thoughts, break the patterns that once held you back. In doing so, you prepare yourself not for ordinary love, but for a union with purpose, one that arrives only when the spirit is ready. As this September 11th shift unfolds, carry this awareness into your daily life. Be patient with the process. Trust that your alignment within will open the doorway without. If these words spoke to your heart, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Shaolin Soulfire. Walk this path with us, and together we will continue to uncover the wisdom that strengthens the soul and awakens the spirit. Peace be with you.